From the number of new model launches, it's been pretty clear that the most fashionable layout for 2016 is a centre washroom with a rear island bed. However, on a single axle caravan, that really can squeeze both the washroom, the bed length and the lounge. So what's the answer? Well, add another axle. This is the Swift Conqueror 650. It's a twin axle with an inline island bed at the back and a large central washroom. Now, being a Conqueror, it's a high spec model. It's not quite as high spec as an Elegance, so you'll have to pay extra for secure wheel locks to go in those wheel lock receivers, but you do get a gas barbecue point, a 230 volt external socket, and of course all the Alco goodies with a hitch stabilizer, ATC trailer control and shock absorbers. Pretty much everything you could need, to be honest. And that story continues inside. After that streamlined and stylish exterior, I do find the interior a little bit of a disappointment at first. I find this fabric, which is inherited from last season's Elegance range, a little bit on the bland side, along with these leaf pattern curtains. But that said, there is absolutely no disappointment with the space in here. This lounge is really very generous. You could get 3 at a squeeze on that sofa and probably 4 on this side. And that means that, of course, at night, this side can make up as a single bed, which is useful if you've got an occasional guest. If you've got 2 guests, well, of course, you simply pull the slats out from beneath the front chest and it makes up into a really good sized double bed, albeit one with a bit of a step in it, thanks to the differing lengths of those sofas. Other kit up front, well, we've got 2 230 volt sockets here, but these blanked off plates tell you that there's no 12 volt point or USB point. For the 12 volt, you'll have to go over to the little sideboard, which is, of course, the ideal place to put your TV. Other things up front, we've got a rather nice little spirit level mounted in the front shelf, which makes it nice and easy to get the van level on pitch. And that big panoramic sunroof overhead, which is a great addition, because these front windows aren't huge, yet it still feels lovely and bright in here thanks to that. And usefully, there's also doors to access the underbunk storage space, plus one external one on the near side. The main kitchen area here on the off side of the van is largely unchanged from the single axle 560, but that's no great shame because it's a fantastic kitchen. We've got a microwave, sensibly sited, not too high and not directly over the cooker. We've got the obligatory dual fuel hob, separate oven and grill, but what we've also got is a massive storage. Got this lovely big drawer here and a big cupboard underneath it, and then of course a little locker on either side of the microwave. There's not an enormous amount of worktop space, but there's enough to be going on with, and there's a worktop flap that lifts up at the end to give you a bit more should you need it. But it also looks really stylish. I love this Phoenix worktop. It's a really natty finish. And there are these rather nice illuminated splashbacks as well. Plus, of course, 2 sockets, which is useful when you're on a seasonal pitch, which many of these vans will be. Where it does differ from the single axle is here on the near side. We've got a simply massive 190 litre fridge with a separate freezer, ideal for long periods in the van. Although there's no dedicated cocktail cabinet, there is a little cupboard here beside the fridge that you could definitely use for that. And of course, next to that, you've got the controls for the Aldi wet central heating and for the Swift command system, which means that you can look after the main functions of the van remotely via a smartphone app. Where the 650 really scores over the single axle version is here in the central washroom. It really is massively more spacious and plenty roomy enough for 2 people, which is quite an unusual thing to find in a tourer. Moving the sink away from the central vanity unit to here on the offside wall creates plenty of changing room space, and it also rather neatly conceals the wheel arch intrusion into the room there. We've got not 1 but 3 bathroom cabinets in here, one of them over the opaque window, and there's also an overhead skylight, so the room really is flooded with light. As for the shower, well, that's over here on the near side of the van. It's a circular unit and it's pretty roomy, although there is some wheel arch intrusion into the shower tray. Alongside it you'll find a radiator for the Aldi wet central heating, a towel hook, and above them a little shelf for bathroom oddments. You enter the master bedroom through the his and hers entranceways to be greeted by his and hers cupboards, his and hers shelves, his and hers drawers, his and hers lamps, and his and hers wardrobes, one on either side, both with mirrors. Inside this near side one, you'll also find the lounge table, which is a bit of a pain because it means you've got to lug it through past your clothes and right through the van, but it is at least reasonably light. The bed itself, well, it measures 6 foot from end to end, and it seems a shame, bearing in mind that we're on a twin axle, that it couldn't have been made a little bit longer for the 650 than it is in the 560. It's pretty comfortable though, and of course underneath it you'll find a massive storage space, along with the spare wheel. Facing you is a rather nice bulkhead, the ideal place to put a TV. So happily Swift has fitted it with a TV mount, all the relevant sockets, plus a rather neat little shelf beneath. As long as you're not too tall, this bedroom really is the height of luxury for a couple of caravanners. The 650 weighs in at 1900 kilos when fully laden and costs in excess of £27,000. That said, the single axle 560 is hardly a flyweight and hardly a cheapskate, and the 650 makes none of the same compromises inside in terms of space. I think if you've got the tow car and indeed the budget to stretch to one, it's well worth the extra.